So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to Prague Fringe Reimagined. This is our penultimate day, and we're really lucky to be joined today by Chris Perkin, who's the founder of the event management system that we use called Eventotron. So I'm going to hand over to Chris, and then we'll all join in at the end to answer any questions that you may have. So wherever you're watching us from, welcome back. I'll go over to you now, Chris.
Okay. Thanks very much, Rosie. Thank you, Prague Fringe, for having us here, and thank you for watching. So yeah, I'm Chris. I founded Eventstron. Today we're going to just talk you through a little bit of what Eventstron does from a festival manager's point of view, and then switch to looking at it from what an artist can do with it. And then at the end, we'll just give you a little sneak peek of a few things that we've got coming soon, we hope. So I'm now going to try and switch to a different view, which hopefully has worked, and hopefully you can see me there. I will just get out of the way. And then off we go. So what is Eventstron? Eventstron is a toolbox for festival managers. It helps them streamline everything they do, from collecting information about artists to pushing it through to their websites, making brochures, keeping everything up to date, and then settling at the end of the festival. It's also a way for performers and artists to find festivals they can perform in, and increasingly other venues and touring schemes, things like that. And also it's a way for venues to find those shows that they might want to host as well. So who makes it? There's me. Oh, excuse me, I've just gone forward a bit there. Okay, that's who uses it. Yeah, so who makes it? It was founded by me. I'm Chris. I'm getting ahead of myself on this presentation here. Just give me a second. There we go. Yes, founded by me. So I'll give you a little bit of background about us. I was looking to go to university in Edinburgh, where I first came across Edinburgh Fringe. Since then, I've run a couple of small theatres in London, a production company, bit of writing, and always had a bit of a tech bent. So hopefully I come at this with quite a lot of experience of the performing arts industry from different places. Holly is our communications director. She's also on the call and can help with any questions at the end if needed. Holly's got a similarly varied background in the arts. She's worked in marketing for several regional theatres, and she ran a charity called Masterclass at the Theatre Royal Haymarket, which is one of the UK's leading charities for supporting and developing young actors and directors. And in more recent years, she's been in freelance marketing and joined us a year ago, and has been a really good support in helping with clients and broadening our reach and pushing us forwards. So who uses Eventstron? So yeah, as I say, it started in Edinburgh, and it sprang from some work I was doing from some of the biggest venues there. They needed a brochure put together every year, which had 700 events in, so coordinating between everybody there, keeping information, keeping it up to date, and then pushing it to a brochure. Obviously, quite a lot of work involved there. So we made a platform to gather that information, and then helped put that into a brochure. And we were able to kind of, because eventually artists could see their show entry as they were building it, that meant that they could cut a huge amount of time out of the proofing process, about 6 weeks, and it saved a small fortune in sort of designer fees. So based on that, I thought this could probably be useful to other festival organisations, Fringes in particular. So for about 4 or 5 years ago, Brighton Fringe were the first ones to come on board, and that was quickly followed by festivals in Australia and Canada, Europe, and the US. So I am pleased to say that we now it's been used for over 120 festivals by our sort of 40, 50 or so clients. We have 40,000 artists registered in the system, about 3,500 venues, and overall about 180,000 performances have gone through the system, and we've processed all sorts of fees for people. Yes, it's in good use now. So it caters for all types of festival. I've roughly broken these down into different types, but one thing I've discovered is that everyone runs their festival slightly differently. So I've called it a curated festival as a type. That's where an artist or a show might apply to the festival, and then the festival gets the first bit of information about them and then chooses whether they will perform as part of the festival. Prague, I think, runs like that. Lottery festivals is very similar. You have an initial application, and then the winners are chosen randomly. That's how a lot of the Canadian festivals work. Open access is things like Brighton and Edinburgh, where anyone can take part. And in that context, you also have anyone can run a venue. So you might have any number of venue managers who want to come into the system, and events can find the venues and apply to them. So that's the kind of full use of Eventstron, which draws together venue managers and show managers and the festival manager. And then also you have hybrid festivals. Again, quite often in Canada, most of their program is lottery, but then they'll also have what they call bring your own venue shows, where the show might manage a venue outside of the festival's management system as well. And Eventotron can cope with all of those. It's very flexible. Increasingly as well, we're finding that people can use it for touring schemes where you have to organize a number of shows taking place over a broader geographic area. And also we're finding some year-round venues using it to find shows and program shows and administer the shows outside of a festival context. Okay, so I'll start going through some of the features of Eventotron. The main thing that I think festivals start using is the customizable forms that they take information from shows with. If you're watching this as an artist, you've probably gone through this. This video is just showing you a few of the different possibilities there are, the kind of questions you can ask. You have a bit of customization over what your festival looks like as well. But yeah, you can collect. There's a picture of a peach cobbler. Yeah, images can be collected. The festival can stipulate the size and the aspect ratio, so they get the information that they really want. They can collect social media stuff. You have yes/no questions, drop downs, anything that you would expect to kind of see really. It's just a few more examples. You get people to upload files. So all this comes together for the festival, and they get an easy overview of it, and it's hopefully straightforward as well for the artist to enter things into. Here we're seeing part of the forms where a show might find a venue to perform in. We'll see that later when I show you how the whole thing works from an artist's point of view. And you've got a bit of flexibility in putting images in there to help people understand what they need to give you and how the festival is going to work. Yeah, this is an example of using the form to populate a street festival. And then also here you can see how you can display a brochure proof to someone. Again, we'll see that in more detail shortly. So you've got all that information in there, and as a festival manager, you want to be able to pull that out and do useful things with it. What we're seeing here is the reporting side of Eventstron, where you can, looks like the example here, we're searching for all the comedy shows in this festival we're looking at. So I think the festival we see here probably has about 400 shows altogether, but we're narrowing it down and saying which bits of information we want to pull out. You can choose what performances people have days on. It's pulling out admin contact information. You can email artists directly from here, and you can very easily jump into the shows that are listed there and see how they're going, see what they look like from the artist's point of view. And yeah, you can pull that out in a spreadsheet. You can bulk email everyone there, including doing mail merge things. And very soon, you'll have a history of communication between yourself and the artist, and you can see whether emails have been read and that kind of thing, but you can merge in show names and that kind of thing. You also have full reporting on venues. A lot of festivals run their own venues, but a lot of festivals will have independent venue managers. So again, they might apply to the festival and you can gather their information, and there's like drag and drop scheduling. You can move shows around, that sort of thing. And again, you've got a full email history with the venues if that is useful. Okay. So I mentioned before this started with the ability to create brochures for people, and this is the first example of taking the data you've collected and doing something useful and quick with it. So what we're showing here is some of the different brochure designs that can be put through Eventotron. Basically anything your designer can do, we can make for you. It doesn't have to comply with our templates. We do whatever you need. So the artist will be putting in information about their show, and they'll see their brochure proof coming together as they do so they can sign it off when they complete their registration, and there's no back and forth with designers or proofing. Totally customizable. We can also make indexes for your brochures and daily diaries. Again, that's all just generated automatically. And also we can sell, you can use the system to sell your own advertising, and then you can use it to place any adverts you've sold in amongst your listings as well. So once you've done that, you just send it through to us and we send you a finished brochure for you to put the front and back on and send to print. Eventstron will also generate all kinds of documents for you. Examples here, we've got contracts, there's a settlement document at the end there. You can drop in performance schedules, everything like that, hopefully very useful. Okay, so as well as doing stuff in our own system, we then push it out to other systems that you might work with. Most commonly, that's your box office software and perhaps your website, but it could be an app. It could be a overhead display board, all that kind of thing. So we have our own API, which your developers can talk to pull everything out. That's how a number of our clients interact with us. We do now have our own super simple box office, which, as the name suggests, is a very simple box office system. I'm going to show you that very shortly, just to show you how easy it is to take your festival and put it on sale to your audience. In addition to that, though, we have integrations with some of the main box office providers. Red 61 is one that a lot of our clients use. And we do as much as we can to integrate tightly with them and try to do things like pull back box office reports so your artists can log in to Eventstron and see how their sales are going. Yeah, and we tie it all up so it can all be pushed out to your website in one go. So I'm going to take a little swerve now to just talk about super simple box office. This is a new-ish thing for us. We found that one of the ways that we can help people most is keeping all their information in sync. And sometimes when we try to talk to other people's systems, that's more difficult. So we thought, what's the easy way for people to get all the data they've got in there and send it to their websites, build a website very quickly from scratch. So it integrates very easily. It's very affordable. The easiest way to implement it is with a WordPress plugin. So if you have a WordPress website, you can be up and running in about 5 minutes. That's what I'm going to show you now. It allows artists to request a payout when a performance has matured, rather than the festival having to do that at the end of the festival. So the artist gets their money quicker and the festival has less admin to do. Your box office reports are all shown in Eventotron where the artist is used to going, and the artist or the venue or the festival can issue comps and press tickets, that kind of thing, and it's always bang up to date with whatever's in Eventotron. So if you change something in Eventotron, like change an image or change a bit of show blurb, it's pushed immediately to the website. So I'll just explain now the problem we're trying to solve there. So you have your information in Eventotron and you have your audience, and you need a way to get them together. Normally you'd have your festival website, you'd have a box office system, you might have a separate ticketing website. So people browse on your website and they're pushed to the ticketing website, and then that ticketing website has to talk to the box office. And ideally all of that's talking back to Eventotron. So you very quickly, and you might have a separate reporting website where people log in to see their box office figures. Believe it or not, this is very common in festivals. So once everything starts to talk to each other, it gets very complicated. The idea with Super Simple Box Office is that you just have a website, Eventstron talks to it, your audience talks to the website, and everything your artist needs to know is back in Eventotron. So this is a very quick demo of that. What we have here is an empty WordPress site. We've just stuck a logo on of one of our clients. That's the back end of the WordPress website. We've installed our Eventotron plugin, but you'll see there are no events in the system. We're going to show you how easy it is to do that. So all you need is an API key from Eventotron, which is what we're showing there. Just copy that, paste it into the back end of your website. It will find your festival from Eventotron. You just marry up a few fields to tell it what information to display. And then you can just import all your shows. So we're doing that. There's a couple of test events there that we're not going to do. But they're all in. And if we refresh the front of the website, you'll now see you've got all your shows there. It's all the searching and filtering is taken care of for you. And I'm actually just going to skip forward a little bit and just show you there's venue information that's going to the website. It's showing you what's nearby. Just going to show you how we buy a ticket. Showing you a basket there. Tickets for another show. There's a basket. And add a donation to the festival. And we're just hiding my credit card details there. But very shortly that'll be paid and the tickets will be visible. Those sales will be visible to the artist within Eventotron. That money isn't held with Eventotron, it goes straight to the festival. And the artist can request to draw that down on their schedule. Yeah, so that's a quick summary of Super Simple Box Office. And to summarize what we've shown you in terms of what we offer festival managers, very quick setup, totally customizable forms, totally flexible. You can take payments from artists when they register or when they apply. You share documents and guides and assets with them. You manage all your events and venues, full reporting, drag and drop scheduling. That should say contracts, integration with box office, website integration. Your data is always in sync. And also recently, particularly with Super Simple Box Office, we offer a lot of support to manage shows that want to stream, which obviously helpful in the current situation. So for the last 10 minutes or so of this presentation before questions, let's talk about how we work for artists. So we're going to take you through a registration from scratch. So this is the front of the Eventstron website. One thing I did want to flag up that we've been doing recently is that we've been commissioning artists to talk about their experience with the pandemic, but also offer some practical help on streaming shows and also more generally how to promote shows, whether that's online or in real life. I think that's been nice to be able to commission artists that way, but the content hopefully is very useful to everybody. So we're going to start with a new account. So I'm an artist, I'm logging in, just need an email address, set myself a password. And I'm taken to a list of festivals that are currently open for applications. Through the pandemic, we found lots of people keeping going, limited live performances, but lots of streaming stuff. We have got a totally online festival. But we have a few others, in Australia, New Zealand, they've done very well and are hoping to go ahead with live performance. This is an example of a festival in Australia. So you click on the festival, you find out a bit more. If I already had an event in Eventstron, I would choose it from there. I don't, so we're going to put in a test event. Just say next. That's made an event for me. And because this festival is open access, I can go straight through to filling out the registration forms. If it was a curated or lottery festival, then at that point, the application would have been paused while the festival decides who's going to perform with them. So the festival can share marketing assets, guides on how to do things. In the first instance here, it's just asking for some terms and conditions. You'll see how it's very clear to the artist that their progress is going up on the left-hand side as they answer all the required questions. Example of a question there which led to some follow-on questions, which is a common use case. Taking detailed contact information about a person. You can have any number of contacts associated with the show. So you might have a separate marketing contact or a producer, or you might want to take details of a stage manager, anything along those lines. We'll just sped up the video here slightly. This, by the way, is quite a complicated festival. You'll see the full extent of all the sections on the left-hand side that they're asking artists to complete. We've got some festivals that only have 3 sections there, just the basics. But in common with a lot of Australian festivals, they take quite a lot of demographic information about the makeup of your company. This is seeing a show apply to a venue. So this festival has 100 odd venues listed, but they've just said, I want to see the ones that have a capacity of more than 50 and have a proper stage and a proper dressing room. Just found that for them there. Just going to show them lots of details about it, the facilities they offer. You can download tech data sheets, lighting rig plans, anything like that. Found one here that I think we're going to apply to. So you just go in there, say apply, and that's the start of the conversation. And when both the venue and the show agree they want to perform together, they're joined up, and that will take us through to the next slide, I think. Yeah. So at this point, the show's been accepted by the venue, and they can put in their performance dates, times, and prices. This is all very flexible. We can perform those dates. There's a full price there. There's concession prices. The festival can stipulate a list of types of concession that they want to record information from, which is what we're seeing there. That's a very complicated setup. A particular performance might be part of a special ticketing scheme. You can highlight that there. There's the ability to ask for allocations in the situation where you operate a venue festival box office, but your festival or venues are selling tickets elsewhere. And this new edition lets the show say if they will be streaming their performances. So it is, if they want to charge a separate ticket price for the stream, they can do, otherwise it will assume it's the same as a normal one. And if you want to limit the number of streams you sell, perhaps for a Zoom conference, you can do that. So I've made the performances, the little red thing saying there, little red camera icon saying that we don't have a streaming link yet. Eventotron will remind the artist nearer the time that we need that, and they can come back in and fill it in, and it will notify the festival if they do so, in case the festival has to make changes to their website or anything like that. And I think we're just going to keep on going through the forms. Sped up a little. You see here, this is collecting images. I always like to use Muppets. So the festival's asked for a particular size of image. So it will enforce that upon the, so in this case, the image is too big, so the artist can choose which bit they want to take out, and it's always the right size and aspect ratio. So in this case, they like Fozzie Bear, clearly. There we go. And this festival is also asking for, I imagine asking for one image for their brochure and one for their website. So again, it's slightly different aspect ratio, so the artist can pick what they need. We'll fast forward a little. So what you can see here at the top is the artist brochure coming together. It's missing a blurb at the moment. You've got the title, you've got the image uploaded, and it will pop in all the performance information there. It's updating as we go. Let's skip on a bit. Yeah, more form filling. See again that the progress is creeping up. We're up to nearly 80%. all sorts of different types of questions you can ask. You can have those tag questions. Difficult to see there, but you can see that as they've been filling in the form, it's applying the correct type of payment. So some festivals charge differently depending on how many performances you're doing or the size of your venue, things like that. We should get the right one, so we're nearly there. Let me just skip forward again. That's another view of the payments. You can, the artist can download an invoice automatically generated like that. And then when they get to 100%, they're invited to what we call finalize, summarize the details, they can put in a payment. Again, we don't hold the money, it goes straight to the festival. They'll be locked out of certain parts of the registration form at that point as chosen by the festival. But in the case of an open access festival, that's generally the point where you say, yes, the registration fee's paid. That show is part of a festival. So we've seen from a festival manager's point of view, we've seen what it's like from an artist's point of view, and I'm just going to give you a few tasters of what we've got coming soon for artists, because we really want to develop the fact that we have all these people using the system, and where and when and how they perform is changing. So we just want to make it as easy as possible for artists to find venues, venues to find artists, festivals to find the artists they want, and the artists to find the festivals they want. So we're going to allow shows to have their own public-facing and industry-facing profiles, so anyone can find out more about a show. We're going to allow them to promote their event within the system. So if I have a show, maybe it's taking place in a couple of festivals, but I want the wider world to know about it, I can advertise within Eventotron extremely cheaply, and that will bring it to the attention of festival managers and venue managers, and other people that we have using the system, like PR people, press. We'll allow you to stay in touch with your audience by collecting their data. If it's gone through Super Simple Box Office and they agree to share their information with the artist, you can plan tours, notify venues where you are, draw down ticket sales on your own schedule, and we also have a feature to help with pay what you want shows and to get donations from audience. So we'll just give you a very quick demo of some of this. So I'm logged in here as a promoter, I think. So in my events, you see this lady has a few events that's been at various festivals, but in addition to that, that's where she would manage them, but she can also search everything in Eventstron if the artists have said they want their event to be searchable, and find out about them. So that's how many Macbeths we have in the system. Top right there, though, is a show that has taken out an advert with us. So they can find out all about their social media, any reviews, videos, images, and then they can approach them directly. So that might be just an inquiry, or it might be to say, come and perform at my venue that I run, or have you thought about this festival or something you might be interested in, generally for a curated festival. But yeah, so this particular user can invite those people to join. And then I think we have one more. This is from the artist's point of view. So this is that same show that we saw advertised then. We can see from the tabs at the top there that this show has been performed at various festivals already. Y-Fest is one of our test festivals. But the tab that I want to show you, which doesn't exist currently in Eventstron, but it's coming very soon, is the touring and promotion tab. This is where the artist creates that profile that people can see. You can see there, she's had a couple of messages from different festivals. That's a history of messages. It's just a test, obviously. But this is where they're putting in the information that will contribute to their profile. And actually, if this information is used in a festival application, it will be automatically filled in for them as well to save time. But yeah, in relation to this show, we can upload lighting plans, stage plans, that kind of thing. So the artist can share those very easily. Scrapbook to keep track of press. Festival press managers can also contribute to a show's scrapbook. So that will help a festival press manager find out about shows, or perhaps an artist will beat them to recording a review or or vice versa. Availability lets you say where you are and when you can perform. So in this example, this artist is saying, I'm in Prague and I can travel within a certain number of kilometers. And if we have venues in the system that indicate they're looking for a show, we'll notify them automatically. And they can use the system to get in touch with the artist. Finally, I think the pay what you want helper, everyone's used to QR codes these days. What this is, this started with the idea that you might have a pay what you want show where you jiggle the bucket at the end, but not everyone's got cash with them. So we generate a QR code for them. They can stick it on their flyer or on their bucket, or even project it on their stage at the end of their show. Audience just holds a phone up. It can take it to their profile, so that the audience member can find out more about the show, maybe join a mailing list, which we will keep for the artist. And also with a view to pay what you want shows, they can just make a donation immediately there. It's like a one-tap Apple Pay thing. So that's what's coming soon. I promised half an hour. I've gone slightly over, but that did feel a bit of a rocket tour. But thank you for listening. Always happy to hear from you. I think we're going to have time for Q&A if anyone would like to talk to us. But we're always around and delighted to talk to anyone who wants to know about it from the point of view of an artist or a festival manager or a venue manager or press or anything. So thank you for listening.
Thanks ever so much, Chris. That was fantastic.
Thank you for, yes, I hope it wasn't too quick.
I think it was just about what we promised, so that's great. I'm just looking to see if we have any questions. I actually have a few things that I think would be interesting to ask you, if you don't mind.
Of course.
All of that the new artist features look amazing, particularly at the moment where you know, artists are perhaps struggling to get out and about as much as they have been in previous years. The profile that you're talking about making, will that be something that's publicly accessible even if someone doesn't have an Eventotron account? So they, for example, if they were sending an email to a festival, could they put that link in the email and it would be viewable by anybody, or is it just a within Eventotron thing?
At the moment, to start with, we're all kind of within Eventotron, but it is possible to share it like with that QR code thing. So you need to be in Eventotron to make your profile page, and that's where we kind of think industry people will find it. But yes, you might want an audience member to find it, because you might want them to give you your contact details so that you can tell them about your tour or your next show. So yes, that will be available eventually. You just give a link to people. In fact, I think I know of one festival that wants to use it exactly for that purpose, for kind of audience communication.
Eventually it could replace the flyer, I suppose, if people are trying to promote their show in a more environmentally friendly way, then they've got that that they can share easily with people. So that's really exciting.
Yes, I thought maybe they'd have it on their badge or something like that, very easy to just get information. And
I was just watching your presentation thinking about who might be watching it from the Czech Republic, for example, which is where we're based. For artists here, for theatre makers here, just to reiterate what Eventotron can do for them, which is that they have this one-stop shop to be able to promote their show or shows to how many festivals are now using Eventotron for?
So I think we have about 50 clients. Some have used it multiple years, obviously. So in total, there's you know, been used for about 120, 130 festivals. But yeah, assuming everyone's in a good position to start their festivals up again next year, we should see a lot coming in. And at the moment, we do have a lot of New Zealand and Australian festivals, which is great. But yeah, I'm hoping to see a bit more of Europe and Canada coming back soon, actually.
So they have the ability now to send their show to all of those festivals around the world, and many of those festivals are now working on this hybrid scheme, so some of them may have a digital aspect. So if they have a high quality recording of their production, they have now the ability to send that into all of those festivals in one place, which is just amazing. Yeah,
that's coming very early in the new year. That stuff at the end of the presentation there, that's early next year, 1st of January.
We are encouraging current festivals who are taking applications at the moment or about to start taking applications to advertise the fact that they have a streamed aspect to their festival in the Eventotron Festival Finder, because then obviously artists from anywhere in the world will know that they can apply with their either pre-recorded or streamed event.
Yeah, excellent. Is hosting the stream an event of a show in Eventotron something you'd look to do in the future? Like actually having the live stream happen within Eventotron, or is that sort of like phase 50 down the line?
It's a potential. I think so far we've just kind of been trying to serve what people are actually trying to do, because most people seem to have their stream elsewhere. We talked to a couple of people who are building a service that allows people to put their stream behind a paywall, because what's happening at the moment is people are trying to sell tickets for streams that are kind of publicly available anyway, which does work, because I think people are happy to support the artists in those cases. But yeah, we're at the moment it's probably not something that we're going to build, but we are in touch with people who are doing similar things, and we'd definitely like to integrate with them.
Okay, interesting. What else did I have written down?
Fantastic to watch how we were slightly worried about launching a festival. I mean, our usual festival is an international event, but for international artists, checks don't usually apply. Just the nature of our festival. So it was interesting for us to sort of launch this on a local platform. We were worried, like what happens if people don't understand the login process and everything, but it was so easy. There were almost no questions about it. Just people just did it, got on with it, and that was in a second language, which is a real testament to how user friendly your whole system is.
That's a good question, I guess, actually, is about translations of the system. Is it always going to be in English only? Is that the plan, or would it be possible to have it available in other languages in the future?
No, we definitely want to make it available in other languages, and it is to my shame and my typical Englishness that we didn't start off that way. But what we are used in countries where English isn't the first language, and like you guys do, it is possible. A lot of the content that an artist will see is directly entered by you, so you can use another language, or you can have bilingual things. But yeah, we do very much want the rest of the things that hold your hand through the site to be multilingual.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we, as a festival organization, you can enter all of the questions in the language of your choice. It's just the system itself which is in English. That's a good point to note. One thing I was thinking that might be interesting for any other festival organizers or arts administrators that are watching is about the process of setting up their festival with you. So if they were thinking of handing over to Eventotron, they're using spreadsheets and Word documents at the moment, and they're worried about the work involved in actually moving over to your system. Maybe talk a little bit about how that works and how much of it they do and how much of it you do and that kind of thing. Because I know that was one of the things we were slightly concerned about as a small festival with limited sort of tech resources.
Yeah, absolutely. So historically, we hold people's hand quite a lot, I think. We are, I mean, it's just been me for a while, so there's been documenting how the system works has been on the back burner, but we do have a lot of that coming soon to help people kind of self-serve. But we are here, and it's useful for us to be talking to festivals, finding out how they work, and also what frustrates them, if anything, in the system. But yeah, no, we can, depending on how a festival works, we can take historic information about shows if that's useful. Like if they're used to working with venues and they want all the venue manager stuff in the system, that's fine. We can even do that with historic attendance data to an extent. But yeah, the idea is that anyone can rock up and get started. And we have various template festivals now that you can choose. So you can say, yeah, I'm doing a CAF festival in Canada, so it will set you up in the most appropriate way. Or you could say, no, I'm doing a very special curated Oscar Wilde festival, so I only want Oscar Wilde shows.
A good idea.
Yes. Someone's tried it. Don't worry.
And actually, also, it's helpful that you can pick, as an event organizer, you can pick and choose the elements of the system that you want to use at any time. So for us,
very much so.
We started gradually and we've built up, and we'll keep building up as we feel more confident using it. But I think in the first year we kind of overlapped. We kept our old systems running as well because we were nervous about it all, and we used Eventotron as a kind of a secondary and for the applications and things like that. And now gradually we'll start to integrate more of what we do into the system as you develop it more as well. So you don't have to start by using the whole thing. You could just take one element of what you do, use Eventotron for that, see how it goes, and then add more in as you go along.
No, absolutely. So yeah, we might, some festivals will be all in, and we'll be driving their websites and apps and box offices. Some will just be using it to get that initial bit of information from an artist. Some even come in after that. They might already have their show scheduled, but it's useful to have it all in one place so we can import their existing festival and just give them a means to report on it and contact their artists. Yeah, it's very much take the bits that are useful to you.
We really appreciated how flexible the whole thing was. I mean, it was a big, daunting, scary thing for us to make so many changes so quickly, and because it was so easy to work with you, and for you to be so flexible with everything, that the pressure was kind of off, and it just made the whole transfer from the old system to this.
Great, I'm pleased. Thank you.
I've actually got some questions here from people watching on YouTube. So the first one is, if I want to set up a new festival and use your system, could you tell me about the cost?
Yeah, sure. So up until about now, the cost structure has been for every show that you manage that is part of your festival. So you might promote the festival and will help you reach the 40, 50,000 odd artists in the system. You might get loads of applications, but your festival might just take 10 or 15 or 50 shows, and the fees were based on that, and it was roughly £15 or £10 if there were not many performances per show. Again, apologies for UK-centric pricing there. However, starting next year with our new version, it's going to be a flat fee, basically, which will average out at much less than that figure. Holly, are we telling people what it is yet or not? Let's not, just in case.
And that's an annual payment that you would pay at the end of your festival year or the calendar year, or how will that work?
It's per festival. I'm sorry, Holly. Yeah. Yeah, per festival. But don't let that stop you using it now. Anyone who's in there, I always say I don't want the reason to use it to not use it to be money. And we are aware that these are difficult times, so we definitely want to be flexible. But we think when we tell people what we're going to be charging going forward, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised.
And that's if you're setting it up as a festival. And if you're an artist using it, it's completely free to create an account, and then the payment comes in if you wanted to choose something like your new advertising system, or perhaps some festivals might charge an artist to apply, for example, but the cost to join Eventotron itself is free.
Yeah, absolutely. To go in there, create a show or apply to a festival, we will never charge you anything for that. As we develop our advertising model, if it proves to be of value, then we might put in a small fee for that. But initially, when it launches next year, that's going to be free for everyone as we work out how it works.
Okay, one other question here about contracts. Does Eventotron assist with conflict resolution, contract issues?
That's a good question.
Do you have contract templates or resources like that for organisers?
So at the moment, what you do, we take what you have. So we don't enforce a contract on you. You build the contract. It has occurred to me that it might be worth, here we have organisations like the ITC who have their own kind of standard contracts for performing arts, and it has occurred to me that one day we might like to give people access to that. So I think the direct answer to that question is At the moment, no, but if you have a good contract, you can get it in there, you can automatically populate it, and coming soon, actually, you'll be able to sign it digitally as well.
And one more about translations, but I think we may have covered that. It says, how do you manage the translations? Who translates? So I guess, for example, I could explain how we've managed it in the past. When we've had a printed program in previous years, we've submitted both texts into Eventotron, and then it then takes both of those texts and puts them in our program in the right place. So in that case, we manage the translations and put them into the system. I don't know if you want to say anything else about translations from your perspective.
That's I think you kind of pioneered that, and it seemed to work. So
here we are, breaking new ground in the Czech Republic. Good. I think that's it for the questions on YouTube. Anybody else have anything else they want to say before we finish? Do you want to let people know how they can get in touch with you if they're interested in finding out more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find out a little bit about us at www.eventotron.com. You can email me, Chris at eventotron.com. Holly's Holly at eventotron.com. We're on social media as well, aren't we, Holly?
We are, yes. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Eventotron.
I would like to say just how completely life-changing it was once we took the full leap and entered the whole world of Eventotron. Completely and utterly life-changing for little, in terms of the number of people that work on Prague Fringe during the year, organisation. It was just that kind of moment where things really changed for us. It doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago that we were actually having people print their contracts and send us them from San Francisco or wherever around the world, and having to rummage through bits of paper and all those kind of nightmares that come in the admin of a small event. And it really has been brilliant working with you, Chris and Holly.
Thank you.
Really looking
It's
forward
been a pleasure
to all of the new additions, which look super exciting as well. So if anybody's in any doubt and they are interested, just go for it. It really your system is amazing, and it is life-changing. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's your discount sorted for next year.
Great. Thanks
thanks for having us. Thank you very much.
And I think that's us finished. Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to upload this to YouTube and Facebook afterwards.
Thank you.